and boom, and then you have your first son.
Well, so Betty worked as a teacher for another couple of years. So we accumulated some capital, and at the point where kind of the plan was for her to quit and start a family, and so that took place. And Boeing, we needed another car. We had a Corvette. So at that point, there might be shed a tear here. The Corvette had to go.
It's a two-seater.
And the two-seater had to go.
Right.
There was no way that the three people are going to be in the two-seater. So the Corvette was sold, and we bought a Beetle. The Beetle actually came right then at that point, just before Eric was born.
I remember the Beetle.
Yeah,
you gave it to him when he
the
was
Beetle, yeah, when he got 16, he got the Beetle. All right.
You got the Beetle.
Yeah, he may never forgive me for that.
Used to drive me in the
you got the
Beetle
Beetle,
to school.
you got the Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you have Eric, and 2 years later you have me.
Yeah, so we need another car. So we need a bigger car yet, because the Beetle didn't cut it either. So we ended up getting the GTO.
That's a cool car.
It was cool.
How come I didn't get the GTO?
68 GTO was really cool. Actually, that was before Eric. So the reason we got the GTO is because we needed a bigger car. And I was driving the Beetle to commute. And so the overlap was right. We did get the 68, so that would have to be before Eric. But we got it in anticipation. So the Beetle wasn't for that. It was because the Corvette wasn't functional enough at that point. Couldn't carry anything in it, and it was time to move on.
Okay, all right. And then you have me, and you moved down to San Diego.
Then that was a good little while later, because actually I was at this company for 5 years. And then I was invited to join a startup, and it was across town up near Pomona. And I drove up there in the Beetle for a year, 7 days a week, working 16, 18-hour days.
Was that normal back then?
No, but it was for a startup. And the guy had been in business before, and it was a new business. He had a government contract. He recruited me, he made me a vice president, gave me 30% of his company, and added 30% to my salary. And the reason he did that is because he had been using guys, my old professors from Caltech were his consultants while he was building these electronic businesses that he did. So I got really good recommendation.
Okay. From
the old professors, because they were his consultants, and he kept looking for other people from there and like that.
Okay.
So, and I was pretty well done with this company. It was fine. I had gone way up the ladder.
Okay.
I had started a new division, was VP of that, ran R&D, ran advanced R&D, ran a whole bunch more stuff. And this was in the first 4 or 5 years out of school. So plenty to do there.
Are you feeling good about yourself?
Oh yeah. At that point, it was okay. It's still good. I got it. I'm done with this company. This is exciting. I'm a player, and I just didn't. At the end of the year, I decided it was not worth the effort, not worth the hassle and the trouble.
Okay.
It was a lot of long hours. It was a lot of setbacks. Built some really amazing stuff in a year. Learned how to work much harder than I'd ever worked before. Way harder than Caltech, way harder than the farm. This was really a lot of hard work.
How did you do that? Work that hard?
I worked that hard because the guy that I worked for was 50, and he said, "I'm too old to give up, and I'll never give up." And he'd already done harder stuff before, and he worked harder than I did. Harder by far.
So good mentor.
So he was a good role model.
Okay.
Okay.
And you walked away from the equity when you left? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the game. It was the rule.
Okay.
If you leave, you have to give it back.
Okay. But it was a great
And
experience.
it eventually became a big company that was sold for a lot of money. And I consulted for them for a long time. And the guy went on to be fairly big. And Gloria ended up consulting for that company and his successor companies as well.
Okay.
Up in Orange County. So it was sold to another big aerospace company way later.
Okay. So now you get this opportunity in San Diego.
Yeah, so I went home. I quit one day, and I just said, I'm done. And he said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going home. I did. I went home and sat on the couch. So this is also not a very common thing that people do. I've had this.
I've done this a few times
having done this, I now know what goes through people's heads. And I had people do it at West Health. And so I was in a really good position to explain to the Human Resources Department what's going on with these people. Why are they willing to go home and sit on the couch with no job at all compared to come into work here? What are we doing wrong here? And they had no clue. You know, what I never
what
saw.
Is the answer?
You're just not motivating them. They're not important here. They have no feeling of belonging. They have no feeling of productivity. They don't know where they're going. They don't have any leadership. Nobody to make it an interesting day. And for me, it was just too much work. I didn't think I could do that another year. So I went home, and I was there.
And I saw you do this right before you started Halcyon, maybe?
Yeah, no, I did that. I did that then too.
Yeah, and it was at the El Amigo. I remember sitting watching you, and you were reading Think and Grow Rich. I don't know.
I read Think and Grow Rich when I was in high school.
Really?
Yes. Changed everything. That's what I was doing. That's why I was not going to be a farmer. I don't know where I got that book. I got 2 or 3. I think my grandmother may have given them to me.
What did you learn from that book?
Everything.
Tell me more.
Think and Grow Rich. No. It's about the potential that you create within yourself. And the 5 or 6 things that are in there are a roadmap, much like your accelerator courses and the other things you do today. This is, you get off your butt and do some things. These 3 things will lead you somewhere if you start thinking that way. If you start thinking, that's what I'm going to do. First of all, you quit thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do, and you start thinking, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to follow that with some more of something. And it's a process of both motivation and an explanation of put one foot in front of the other, take the first step, the things you try to get people to do to get off their butts to sign up with you. It was essentially the motivation for me to do that because there was nothing else like it. There was no other way to do that. I would have never had that experience from any other place if it wasn't from that book. And I read it again. You watch me reading it again.
Yeah, just to refresh.
Just to reset your mindset.
Wow.
It was to get back in that same mindset of thinking about a new vector that you're going to pursue. And what you learn is you can't do that while you're in the old vector. Your brain is busy doing what you're doing and thinking like you're thinking. And I give counsel to all my young engineers and younger people that I have on my staff and I work with. You need to make time for your life to think about where you're going and what you're doing. I tell them you're the CEO of your life, of your career. And you can be that today. You could actually be the CEO today. All you got to do is go down and just file with the state, your company name, and you put your title down as CEO. And I said, today, instead of wishing for it, you could be it. So don't even ask me that again until you've done that. You don't want to be the guy working in the back room. Be the CEO. You can do that today. It won't cost you hardly anything. So you do that by putting yourself into the framework that you want to actually be in. And so I read that while I was resting up from riding the tractor.
Okay.
I think I probably read that when I was in high school.
Wow.